Good Monday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV. No, get up here. Scout, you get up here. Yeah, hey, how about the yell in the Monday morning, right? Welcome to the Internal Combustion Engine Age TV YouTube channel that talks about the cool cars that I have, talks about me. Apparently, people are reaching out and say I say I too much on my YouTube channel. Yeah, we talk about SUVs and Mustangs and trucks and dogs and just all types of things. Car shows, car meets, opinions, state of times, technology, lightning, like the F-150 Lightning. Come on, pups. Yeah, it's the YouTube channel where the guy that runs it just runs off the tip of his tongue. Nobody's helping me. Can anybody actually help me? I don't think you could, really. Do I have challenges? I do. Yeah, I do have challenges. I just lost one of my employees that's been with me for a good 12 plus years. And yeah, he abruptly left, and that's kind of put me in a dilemma because I'm at a real big company, and anybody who has a small business understands that how challenging it is to have good people and keep people happy and compensate them well enough, and the list goes on and on and on. And then one day they just raise their hand and say, I'm just done. Yeah, that's my story. So different times for me on my YouTube channel because I'm kind of a one-man show in the YouTube world, and I've always been kind of a one-man show in my own business world most of my career. And boy, my voice sounds terrible. But I talk a lot. I mean, I spent 3 hours yesterday on the freaking car meet. Come on! And I got the dogs who's about driving you nuts. Come on, let's go! They're all crapping. How about that, huh? I let them out an hour ago to do their bathroom thing, and still ain't good enough. So, got all the birds coming into the garage. So, yeah, what am I talking about today, besides everything as usual, is jobs. I thought to myself today, we'll make it the job conversation because one of my employees left. And I just thought, replacing somebody that's been with you a long time, it's not a simple feat. Come on, Scout! Constipated like crazy. Oh, the dogs. So anyway, that telephone right there, that is really my true beginnings of my really being on my own, my real career of in 19 I became my own business owner, and that's really where I came from as far as really blossoming and really being successful, because I tried many other adventures, and it's easy to talk all day long about what you can do and what you can't, what you can do and then what actually plays out. But anyways, back to the Lightning truck here just a second ago. Boy, oh boy. So my key guy drove this since last fall, and I let him have it. It was his company vehicle, and wow, if you watch my videos, you'll see that I spent a lot of time in this truck, cleaning the truck, because I used to have a Dalmatian, so I know very well of what's going on with these. You let a dog, ride around your vehicle, especially a Dalmatian. Like these dogs here, and they ride around, they don't really do much to the vehicle because they don't have those little spears, and that's what happens. And trust me, I've owned a lot of trucks. Back in the 90s, 2000 years, I had a Dalmatian, and that dog went with me everywhere. But the challenge was that dog's hair would get into the carpet and everything. And even after spending all that time yesterday, there's still hair in his vehicle. And, so I just spent, wow, between cleaning this whole truck out of all its tools and equipment and actually going through it and really cleaning it up and detailing it. I mean, good Lord. I started at 1:30 yesterday. I didn't really finish up till 8 o'clock last night. But hey, it's one thing about if you take care of your cars and you really take care of them, you see that's a lot of work. I mean, I've been around the automotive industry my whole life, and I just so can remember being outside sales doing things, and I just can tell you that I've been in so many businesses and dealerships, and these detail shops are just sweatshops. I mean, that is so much work. Until you do that stuff, you just don't really get it. All right, let's get the Monday morning conversations going on. Talk about jobs. Come on, pups. You guys want to have a job? You guys want a job? Yeah. So, all right, get up here. Weather is just beautiful. I have to say that winter is for sure over. Could have a little storm, but really see that being the being anything long term, but who knows? I mean, look at California. Look at California. Who would imagine they're getting snow? Let's turn my other heater on here. Just, you know what? Let me set up my camera. And somebody's going to screw up my light here. Just doesn't end. Yeah, so anyways, so for me, really kind of unfortunate that I've lost one of my key guys to help me run my company. And if Joe's watching, I'm not here making a video to be critical of you. You've been a great guy to me, and if you're watching my video today or whenever you do ever watch it, thank you very much for being a great person and loyal to me. But I get it. He's a young guy, and he wants to go explore and be very successful on his own, which I think that's awesome. Really do. I'm not a person to want to see others, not be successful, and I don't want to be a person in my life to hold anybody back that comes to work for me, and I can only hope that my knowledge and experience was passed on to him to help him be a better person. But meanwhile, changed a lot of dynamics for me in my life, and that's a challenge. That's why I talked about jobs this morning, is because you're a small business owner, you don't understand this stuff till you're a small business owner. So many people are like, oh, you're an entrepreneur, and yeah, you got, it's the cakewalk, and yeah, it's always, people watch my videos, and they think they know so much of what they don't know. So, and it's not me by any means being critical of anybody here watching my channel, but I just get some really weird comments every now and then. It's like, you see 30 minutes of me in a video talking, or you see my car antics, and you come to closure, you think you actually know all the details of, company I own and what I do and how I use all my money. Yeah, well, everybody knows how I use all my money. I buy freaking cars all the damn time. Yeah, that's the reason I've got a YouTube channel. Is just to share with people how crazy I am. For anybody else out there. But you know what's incredible? This local Dodge dealer, there's a guy up the road about my age that apparently is bad or worse than me. He and his wife are into it. Apparently, he and his wife are car addicts. So this is dangerous. And they're big money, they're the what's it called? The no income or whatever, the DINK. What is it? Dual income, no kids earners. The DINK. Apparently that word's been around for you. I told my wife the other day, today. So the new word's DINK. My wife is classy. She goes, DINK. Dual income, no kids. I'm like, yeah, that's like something brand new. My wife looks at me like, that's been around for 20, 30 years. I'm like, okay, I've never heard that say before. But anyways, so anyways, it's a little bit more challenging for me to kind of run a company more so. And that's what I was trying to explain to that payphone business. Man, I started that payphone business back in 1996, and I really grew that business for the most part on my own. And I did have some other people help me, but for the most part, it was older gentlemen that helped me kind of get it going, and another guy kind of worked part time. And so I've been the one man show most of my career in life. Really have, and I've had a lot of success, thank goodness. But I've had a lot of failures too. So as far as the jobs go, the job market, man, I tell you, it's beyond believable where we are trying to just grasp what is going on in this country, in the economy, and even the world. So kind of keeping the car theme with the F-150 Lightning truck, I thought, let's talk about the job market and the car market. And I thought it's very interesting. Over the European Union, the BMW employees, and I think the Mercedes-Benz employees, they're protesting this 2035 elimination of ICE engines being sold in that region in the European countries, and they're protesting it because these guys basically, if they shut down the building of these ICE vehicles over in Europe, it's potentially thousands upon thousands of people's jobs that are going to be lost. So these unions are very disturbed and very worried that they're getting ready to see their whole livelihood, what they've done for so many years and what they've continued on to do for so many years, excuse me, is going to be taken away because of the electric vehicles. Just changes the whole dynamic of manufacturing. But at the same time, man, if you just read one article after another of all the infrastructure that's going on with these electric vehicles, the charging stations, the new battery plants, the new manufacturing plants. And what's even more intriguing to me is I've heard so many people, so many years talk about how this is getting a little too hot over here. I'm gonna turn this off. It's incredible how I've heard so many years where this country had to send jobs overseas because nobody wants to work here. Can do the work anymore. Blah 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 blah. I've heard that for years, but yet now more than ever, we're seeing the return of the manufacturing here in this country. I mean, does anybody know what's going on? I mean, is the blind leading the blind in our society? I mean, but what's bringing it back is the electric vehicles. Oh my gosh! In the electric battery manufacturing, and so we start reading these reports of how many jobs are going to be created from all this new infrastructure from the likes of Volkswagen and BMW and the other brands and companies and Tesla even, and the list goes on and on and on. And you just think, how the heck are people losing jobs? And all you talk about is all this new, growth of where we're going with electric vehicles, and then the manufacturers can't keep up the pace with electric vehicles. Even the point that the Ford F-150 Lightning, and I heard from day one that there were 200,000 deposits for the Ford F-150 Lightning when it first came out, and apparently Ford sold 17,000 of those trucks, which for the record, I bought two of them, just about bought a third, but I bought two of them. So those 17,000 vehicles in 2022, I was one of the 17,000 vehicles. Well, right now, Ford is going to ramp that production up to 150,000 units this year. I mean, I just see myself, okay, so all last year, you guys could barely get to 18,000 units, but you're borderline growing by 10 times this year, and already you've had a major shutdown on the vehicles as far as production because of battery issues. And I just think, wow. But I also think, what's the value of that by truck? Well, one of my YouTube subscribers, he's great. He's like, yep, there you go. You got the trade now. You got the trade now for, so yeah, I got the black truck. The Lightning, if I want to part with that for the TRX or the Raptor R, whatever. Well, here's the dilemma. I bought the thing August last year, or September, I can't even remember. I need more coffee. Hey, when you clean a car like I did yesterday for 7 hours, and to keep in mind, I had to do other things. I mean, I'm not saying I just spent the time on that truck yesterday afternoon, taking all the equipment out and all the tools and all the supplies and just getting the thing really back to the basics of being an empty truck and for the what if. And cleaning it and da-da-da-da. If you watch my videos, you'll see I shared a little bit. I should have done the before and after. But anyways, what's the value of that F-150 Lightning truck? Yeah, right. Okay, because I paid over MSRP in that truck last summer. Yeah, I didn't pay huge. It wasn't huge numbers. And I traded I believe my Mach-E Grabber Blue, I think, for that truck. I think. So the truck's upside down. Not on my mind. There's another electric vehicle I have that's buried. I guarantee there's a $20,000 separation. Even if I paid sticker on it, could I get sticker for it? I don't know. In fact, I was wanting to look at the Koons Baltimore Ford inventory before I got on my channel this morning just to see how many Ford F-150 Lightnings are in the market. And all I know is here are the Ford dealers I've been to lately. They've got, I wouldn't say tons of them, but they have them. So my vehicle I ordered last year, and I was trying to get done at the end of December last year, that vehicle was still sitting in Koons' lot. But here's the thing. They're wanting ADM, but I don't know. I'm not so sure if I don't know. So the whole point is Ford's ramping up the production of electric cars, and that's what I'm trying to kind of get to here. You're kind of following my conversation with me, is that I think to myself, the job creation, everything's being revolved around this electric vehicle, so-called everybody wants one, the governing bodies are going to force it on us, future. And I just sit back sometimes and think, I can tell you there's a metro line, I got to video it, a metro thing that was built here in Loudoun County, Virginia, that is basically out to the Dulles Airport now, and then beyond the Dulles Airport, down the Greenway in Loudoun County, Virginia, and that thing doesn't even get used. I mean, it doesn't get used. I mean, so the whole metro rail area, in this D.C. area, for all the jobs that were created for that to be self-sufficient, it ain't happening. Because the jobs that were created, are remote workers. So that's where I think to myself, it's just beyond believable. We, more than ever in society, are not traveling down the road like we used to have to get things done. But yet this green agenda stuff, I mean, so, sadly, if you stand at home, you're polluting the Mother Nature more than ever now because you're sitting in your house using electricity more than ever. I know, buy the solar panels, I get it. Get your windmill out there, I get it. But I mean, at the same time, how many people now are putting more of a strain on the electrical grid system because everybody's sitting there working from their home? I mean, I don't know. You can go to the commercial properties. Look at the commercial properties. What's happening to all these major commercial properties? What's happened to that job market? What happened to all the janitors and maintenance people took care of all these big buildings that nobody goes to anymore? What happened to all the delis that were co-located to these big buildings? And just, goods, or maybe a health food store, or who knows? It's, infinite variables of the jobs that used to revolve around all these cities that had major employment infrastructure of these employees. Where are their jobs? What are they doing? But that's where it's so befuddling, because you see the job market numbers, and we were healthier than ever. I mean, we were healthier. I mean, so it's just you try to kind of figure things out. And here's something interesting about these electric vehicles is the mining companies throughout the world, because we all know that nickel and the iron and the manganese and the cobalt, all that stuff is the key ingredients to be able to make these batteries. And so now what's going on, the automotive, the big guys, the automotive world, they're going to these mining conventions, and they're trying to kind of buddy up with these miners because they need these materials to make these batteries more than ever in modern times, that we're going to see the explosion of electric vehicles. And so anyways, so apparently the big auto guys like Mercedes-Benz, Ford, whoever it may be, they're all kind of trying to get in with the mining operations. So even to the point, a few of them are investing in the mining operations, and some are wanting to loan them money so they can expand their mining operations. So the big automotive industry sees that they're going to have to get a control on the core materials to make these batteries. So I think, wow, can you imagine hearing the big auto, getting in with big oil? I'm not saying that probably wasn't going on, 50 to 70 years ago. And that's the running joke of electric vehicles and electric trains that used to be in LA back in the earlier 1900s, is that the electric trains, they dismantled the whole electric train network, I believe, like in LA. And it was Goodyear. From my understanding, it was Goodyear. They got rid of them and they put buses on the road because Goodyear wanted to sell tires. Yeah, you can look that up. I could be off on that a little bit. And yeah, so I mean, my understanding, I've probably read that like 20 years ago, so I could be off a little bit on that. But anyways, I believe that LA, California, they got rid of the whole, basically, public transportation system infrastructure of being rail cars to buses so that Goodyear could sell tires. I mean, it makes sense if you think about it. Here's a good story about autos. Here's a guy that in England, this is so to me, this is classic. In England, there was a gentleman that had a public parking spot area for people that drove to work there in England and parked their cars in his lot, and he attended the lot, and you paid him to park the car and use his space. And so apparently this British guy did this, I don't know, a good 20 plus years, and maybe longer, but I'm just going off memory. I read this story many years ago. So this gentleman did this for his entire career, and was well known through the community. Really, very good guy. So apparently, one day people went to the park. They went to the parking facility, and he wasn't there. And like another day went by, and he wasn't there. And so as time progressed, people were very concerned for the well-being of this man, and nobody knew where he was. And then as time progressed, nobody really even knew his real full name. And then as time progressed, they came to find out that this guy was actually collecting monies off of, public land owned by the government, and nobody connected the dots. And this guy collected, so he had 100% profit, and he's nowhere to be found because nobody really knew who he was. Can you imagine? I mean, wow. Parking cars, the guy created his own little, slush fund. It sounds like politicians, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I mean, this day I think, wow, that guy was smart. That guy was creative, right? I mean, who doesn't want to get rich, right? I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to have the big payout? Who doesn't want to play the lotto and get your $1 million, $3 million, $50 million? The other day, I think the 168 million, I think Powerball, was won. It's not even talked about. It's unbelievable where we are in today's society. The Powerball's won, many times, and it's not even. So now it has to be $1 billion to get your interest. Yeah, I know. I got off course a little bit there from the automotive conversation, but if you have lots of money, you can buy lots of cars. Or if like me, you just ask banks to give you money and hope you can pay the bills every month. Yeah, that reminds me of Mercedes. Get this. Mercedes-Benz now has finger touch payment process in their car availability. So if you have Mercedes-Benz and you want to make your car payment, you can use the car. Visa and Mercedes-Benz have buddied up with each other. Where Mercedes-Benz, I mean, here's the thing. You think about, do you realize, I used to have a personal friend that worked for Visa USA. Do you know how rich that company is? And I used to own a retail business. And it used to just aggravate the hell out of me. I owned a lawn and garden equipment dealership back in 2007 and 8 before the country went broke, and I went broke with it. I mean, no lie. And yeah, just unbelievable. But it was insane. My business, I didn't even make any money out of that business. But yet Visa would collect $6,000 to $8,000 a month on a good month. Usually 4 or 5, but on a good month, maybe $8,000 on transaction fees that I had to pay out, that they took out of my monies. Oh my gosh, man, it's unbelievable. So for Mercedes-Benz, and going back to my friend who works for Visa, I mean, Visa has their hands in payment processing in every transaction you can do. In general, you have Discover, you have American Express, and even Walmart years ago was trying to get their own banking system just to get away from these fees that they have to pay for just it's a transaction that's verified that the banks have to go through their network. Anybody out there that can figure out how to capitalize on money transactions and how you do that legally and how you can tap into Visa or Discovery or MasterCard or American Express, oh my gosh, billions. So for my friend at Visa, I was always very intrigued because this is like 20 years ago, but they had like 3,000 total workers throughout the whole world. And Visa is just, that's $1 billion, and you just think the profits that operation makes. But going back to Mercedes-Benz, they have figured out how to capture the payment processing because they're using Visa with their car, where you can buy other things through your Mercedes-Benz account and your touchscreen fingerprint approval of you doing transactions. And you can, I guess, do other things. That reminds me of Amazon. So Amazon's pushing more than ever its OEM auto marketplace. So this really intrigues me because when I came out of high school in 1982, I went and worked in the auto parts industry. And so, I had to go to college. I went right out of high school into working 6 days a week. And so anyways, and when I started, we had the books. The books meaning we had all these manuals. We just had, just a rows and rows and double stack filing systems of all the parts for looking up parts for cars. And you had to handwrite everything down. You had to look it up every part, and then you had to walk down the aisle of the parts inventory to see if we had the part. And that's what I did. Actually, I was an inventory guy. I used to stock all the parts and manage all of that. But then I did like half the day. I did inventory stocking and putting everything in the right place, and then the other half the day I did the counter, and then did the sales of parts. So I really knew where everything was. I figured that out very young. I was like, I'm going to know where everything is because I manage everything. And the other person didn't do squat as everybody sat around all day. I came out of high school, I was blown away how many, everybody just sat around all day. They didn't want to work. No, it's a work. It's just, that's the job I'm talking about. Job. What's a job? Yeah. Some people love their job. A lot of people, most people, in some degree, hate their job. So anyways, I was very intrigued about this Amazon OEM marketplace, and I've known about it for years, but they've buddied up more than ever with the automotive industry, motorcycle industry, and everybody. But what I'm going back in 1982, we had all the books, and so you had to look at the books. The saying always was, you got to be smarter than the book, because you just had to outsmart what made sense and didn't. But then as I was there was the very true beginnings of the DOS-based computer parts system, which that's like the most stable parts system even to this date of many automotive industries still use. And so I started seeing that transition in my life very, that was like 83, 84, 85, where you then could get access to the warehouse to see what parts were at the warehouse or what parts were at other stores. And so to me, it's such a no-brainer. Amazon is tapped in to the mother of artificial intelligence, not really, but to the mother of the whole boatload of all the information that's being shared through all the automotive industry, of all the dynamics of all the different cars and all the different part numbers and all the different products. And so for Amazon, you can go there and you can have pretty good success ratio per se, where you can look up everything and order online. I'm just thinking that's just another job that is going to be taken away from the parts stores. But at the same time, I am stumped when I go to AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts and I see the amount of people standing around, being waited on. Which, so even for me, I thought years ago that industry would dry up. But the stores, the O'Reilly stores, the AutoZone, the Advanced Auto Parts, the Napa stores, those stores have grown by leaps and bounds, which I would have told you years ago, no way. Where the industry's going, all the technology. So the jobs, it's just, to me, does this make any sense? So now Jerome Powell, the word is that we're getting ready to see probably some pretty big interest rate spikes. He's meeting this week in D.C., Wednesday and Thursday, but his decision won't be till the 21st or 22nd of March on where the interest rates are going. And the reason is because the job market is extremely healthy. Does anybody remember when Trump was in office that when the job market numbers were published, the media always questioned that. The media always said these are fake numbers, that this is not accurate information. Does anyone remember all these stories? But now here we are now today, in today's job market. And more than ever, I'm reading articles where people are raising their hand and they want to work part-time. And then, as we all know, there's many people that are leaving jobs because they want to have remote work capability. And even to the point, the governor, Eric Adams, whatever that guy is, of New York, to appease the applicants to work for the government in New York, they are having to offer remote working. Yeah, they're literally saying, okay, if you want to work, we're going to reward you by not having to come to the office every day. I mean, Capital One here in this area built massive building infrastructure, and I think they have a 3-day work week. Amazon just announced that their major 25,000 promised jobs, they got them this got the award by the state of Virginia to set up shop here and get tax incentives. Well, that's kind of being put on hold. In fact, some major renovation of buildings down here in Arlington, Virginia area, and the expansion of buildings has been put on hold. Wow, what's going on? Amazon is taking a time out. They're reevaluating the market. They're reevaluating the job market. They're reevaluating, do you really need all these offices for all these people? With all this technology now, more than ever. Like for me, I lived out in this country area for so many years where I had to use Dish or DirecTV satellite to get my television, to get my internet. Yeah, for years and years and years. It wasn't just until like 3 or 4 years ago, I can't keep exactly track of the date, that Verizon finally pulled in Fios cable so that I could have incredibly fast internet and television and everything else. And so the reason I'm saying this is it gives the capability for you to work at home more than ever and be able to do so many tasks, things that you would usually drive to an office to do the same thing, basically. And that's where the aggravation is. And I talked about this during the pandemic. I said, I can't see us going back. I just can't see the people agreeing to go back to work in their office all the time when they'll be like, but I did the same thing from sitting at home. So the whole business model of the job network is so changing more than ever in my lifetime. And it seems like more than ever that the job market is that you're, to a degree, can kind of go get a job wherever you want. But at the same time, you see all these technology companies pulling back and laying people off. But on the other hand, right now, since COVID is gone, and we're hearing the stories of what we think most of us knew anyways, since now people are getting more confident to travel again and go out to eat again and go to the amusement park and the movies and do things more out in the public again, that hospitality industry is exploding on job opportunity and job growth. So if you're a tech guy and you lose your $100,000 or $200,000 a year income and you're in dire straits to find a job, I guarantee you can go find a job, doing something else. May not make as big a money, but you'll probably still make a living to be able to pay the bills and make things work in the interim. And that's why I talk about this electric vehicle revolution, which it is. If you read the car magazines and the internet, it's just incredible. It's just 24/7 of all the dynamics of this electric market coming to us. And even yesterday, I was at the car show, and it's just so interesting how so many people, they just have no interest. And that's what I was saying earlier about this metro rail that came to our area. There's so much money being dumped into the future of what if, but at the end of the day, what is it? Like Electrify America. Have you heard Electrify America? It's had 3 incidents now where they've blown up or they've like bricked a Ford F-150, a Chevy Bolt, and a Rivian to a degree. Yeah, which they say out of millions and millions of users, it's like anything else. Somebody catches their car on fire at the gas station, right? So the point is that we're evaluating so much stuff in the future what we think we're going to need and have to have, but yet the dynamics right in front of us right now just shows so many things that are changing around us that the transportation side of people required to get out and about has changed so much, where you can order all your stuff to be brought to your home. You don't need to drive all over the place. You can watch movies, and there's just so many things that are going on. You can have your own man cave garage, just like me. Get this. So I was talking to a gentleman at the car show yesterday, down there in Naples, Florida. They're building, I thought of this years ago, they're building these condo car garages, which basically it's a 24 by 70. Just picture your public storage space. Well, picture that now being converted into your man cave space, where they're building high-end or nice like condo car garages where you have a loft and you can build it out to be your own little, man cave, hang out in the week on a Sunday or Saturday. You clean your car below. You have your own collection of cars like me, and you got your man cave up above it where you're watching your games or hanging out with your buddies, drinking, smoking a cigar, whatever it may be. And that's a hot item where he was telling me that these things run $258,000 and up, and as soon as they hit the market, they're gone. You can't even get them. Yeah, and I read about this idea years ago. Talk about a great job creator for go building a bunch of those things, right? Jobs. All right. So, anyways, I'm just here sharing my stories as always and ideas. And I just think in the job market, it's just precarious times. It really is. But at the same time, the Jerome Powell and other leading bankers, actually leading other bankers, are really saying the interest rates have to be risen substantially more. Did you just hear me? Outside bankers. And you have to say to yourself, yeah, they're going to make more money. The bankers are going to make so much freaking money. I mean, there's so many variables, all that's going on right now around us. But they're saying, yeah, Jerome, you need to do a 50-point raise. You need to hit that 6%. What? You're talking 9, 10% interest rates on mortgages. Maybe 11 or 12. For the younger generation, they're in for a rude awakening if this stuff starts to play out, because they've been living around the free money, zero interest rates, and the 2.3, 2.75 mortgage. You start talking about 9, 10, 12% mortgage rates. Oh my gosh, man. I mean, is that where it's going? So to me, boy, are times going to get better? Right now, are times getting better, or are things going to get better, or are things going to get worse? Where's it going, right? All right, I'm out of time. I got plenty of things to do, and appreciate everybody that follows me, keeping nice comments. Appreciate nice comments. I'm not here to argue with anybody. It seems like someone to argue, but it's like, what have I done to you today? I didn't mean to upset you, even though some people do post some comments on here. It's like, what is this all about? I mean, just literally like getting all my personal information and everything. I mean, what did I say? Did I say I don't like Joe Biden? Okay. Well, if you get on the news, have you seen, what's the FJB? How many stickers have you seen that around those? How many college football games have you heard them ranting that? I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. But here's Donald Trump, CPAC kicking butt. So, Donald Trump, what I say is, I can only hope if Donald Trump runs for president again, that he can convince all those haters to do about face. Because if he can't, I just can't. I just think, wow. I get it. I'm no idiot to the way politics and the way things work. So, yeah, right now, it's like, you have to say that Donald's probably going to be the contender to go against DeSantis. We'll see if he shows up. He's in a limited time frame before he starts making a decision what he's going to do. But the CPAC, the other day, they're not supporting him very much at all. And Larry Hogan, the Democrat, I call him, the Republican of Maryland, Larry Hogan. You think the guy's a Republican? Yeah, right. He's raised his hand. He's not going to run for presidency. It's like, yeah, thank goodness. You ain't going to bring nothing to the table, Larry. Your daddy brought you to the table because he was a political person that taught you how to speak the left side of your mouth and the right side of your mouth or whatever. Yeah, all right. We'll leave it at that. So everybody, hey, hope your job is okay. Yeah, what do I do about my next job applicant, right? I don't know. It's not easy. That's not easy. That's not something that's going to happen instantly in my life, but we'll just evaluate as time progresses. So once again, thanks everybody. And what am I going to do next? Yeah, right. Got to go to work. yeah. Got to carry the whole load now, man. Yeah. Have I done this more than once? You have no idea. You have no idea how many times I've had an individual walk out, and then I'm just sitting here looking around. Okay, now what do you do, right? Yeah. Hey, my kid actually does help my business, believe it or not. She really does. And actually, she really wants to even help more. So I am going to start training her more to help me run my business. And that's exciting. But she goes to school too, so there's limited time there. And thank God I put her into powerlifting because I need all of her muscle. I mean, it takes a lot of brute. And yeah, there's a lot more to it than you'll know what I'm not talking about. So leave it at that. So, all right, everybody, God bless. Stay safe. Stay tuned.